Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. Today, we're coming to you from the village of Signal Hill at the charming Bishop's Villa. From here, we'll give you the inside scoop on some of the most recent events taking place in Tobago. We'll also take you on a tour of this beautiful property in the next half hour. So stay with us for all the details. I'm Davia Chambers and Let's Talk Tobago starts now. It is one of the most anticipated annual events in Tobago. The Tobago Heritage Festival 2022 is returning, and we'll tell you what's on this year's calendar. Tobago recently celebrated International Midwives Day 2022, honoring the island's midwives for their dedication. The Tobago Agribusiness Development Company, TADCO, held a recent consultation with farmers and agro-processors. We've got the highlights. And later, the drama production Blood Money hits the stage. All these stories and more are up next when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday.
In our top story this week, the Tobago Heritage Festival is set to return after going virtual for the past 2 years. In this story, we sit down with the Chief Executive Officer of Tobago Festivals Commission Limited to get all the details. And if you haven't booked your ticket to Tobago as yet to be a part of the festival, here are a few reasons why you should. Have a look. That's a snippet of the Pembroke Salaka Feast, and this year patrons are getting the chance to fully immerse themselves in the Tobago Heritage Festival from July 22nd to August 1st. The theme is Reflect, Rebirth, Rejoice, reigniting the flames of our legacy.
When you look at the reflecting, looking back on heritage where it was, where it has come, we've been able to go through COVID. The rebirth has to do with looking at how we can re-engineer the festival to even make it even more attractive. And then, of course, the rejoice is that we're still here and we can still certainly do that.
This year's festivities include Plymouth Juve, Miss Tobago Heritage Personality, Laketo Folktales and Superstition, Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, Pembroke Salaka Feast, Heritage Calypso Monarch, Mariah Old Time Wedding, Emancipation Day celebrations, and the North Side Combined Talent Competition.
Castara, Lansumi, Palatave, and Bloody Bay come together, and they're doing a thing called North Side Passion. It's going to be on Castara Bay. That combined area is really about the strength of those communities working together. It's a talent competition. They actually have like a preliminary round, 2 preliminary rounds, and then they take the best of all, and they have this grand final. So it's going to be a talent competition, and there will be a lot of other guest artists that would also speak to the heritage theme and so on.
This year, a heritage micro market will also be featured.
There will be a heritage micro market in the FCB car park area all week, right? Which will showcase a number of the agencies on the island and a number of organizations and a number of vendors and creatives, right, in their own rights, who will all use that space to sell and to showcase items during that week.
For all details, you can visit the social media pages of Tobago Festivals. The Tobago House of Assembly is in the midst of pre-budget preparations. Later this month, the THA will present its fiscal request at the Assembly Legislature for fiscal 2023 before it's sent to central government. Chief Secretary, the Honorable Fali Augustine, is engaging stakeholders through a series of televised pre-budget consultations to take a closer look at key sectors of the economy. Here's this story.
Budget Day in Tobago is approaching. The Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy is pooling key information to allow the THA to detail a comprehensive budget request. That budget is to be presented and debated in the House later this month.
Over the past 3 weeks, we have been meeting with several subgroups to ascertain the needs of each sector within the Tobago economy. We have decided that we will do a series of virtual consultations to allow for greater inclusivity and participation.
The premiere episode of the Make It Make Sense pre-budget consultation program focused on the impact of the budget on women. It explored means to empower women and girls amidst modern economic challenges. Panelist and bank manager Tanil Harilal implores women to seek more innovative ways to become more marketable and self-sufficient.
While it is an important understanding to budget, it is also a good economic empowerment for women to have better choices. So some of the things that we can probably do and been thinking of is, learn a skill. So while you have the CPEP, you also have other things that you could trade. There was a nice bartering environment we had a few years back, understanding that, okay, we're not going to stay here for the CPEP, but we are doing other things to enhance and develop our living situation.
The second episode focused on the development of the creative sector, also known as the orange economy.
There is an increasing view among Caribbean governments and regional agencies that the creative industries can be an economic, or an engine rather, for economic growth and a mechanism for diversifying economies and improving global competitiveness. On account of this, there is a greater need to understand this trajectory of the creative.
Cultural icon Annette Alfred shares her take on the importance of the development of the creative sector and of the preservation of culture through education.
There was this interaction between schools, or education I should say, and the culture. That seems to be totally absent now. I am not seeing it. So my little grandchildren are suffering from the absence of that kind of training. I could see talent in especially one of them, but where is the opportunity for him? Why doesn't our curriculum respond to the call for us to learn what is ours so that we can make some money out of it?
The Make It Make Sense, a pre-budget consultation series, marries a mix of expert and layman perspectives on possible development with an interactive forum via social media platforms. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
Midwives play a significant role in heralding the new generation, caring for pregnant women and their newborns, and they were recognized for their work on International Midwives Day. We hear more from Omadara Mills.
Every new birth that you are able to safely deliver to us is a win for our country as a whole, for the society as a whole. You basically have in your hands the ability to deliver our greatest potentials in every single newborn baby.
One of the indicators we look at is the health of mothers and the health of babies. It is actually one of the few numbers that we look at internationally to determine how healthy a society is. And you play the most critical roles as it relates to the health of both mommy, in possibly the moment when she is most afraid, where she is most nervous, where she is probably most at risk. You play that absolutely critical role.
Those were some words of appreciation extended to midwives of the Tobago Regional Health Authority at this year's International Midwives Day celebrations in Tobago. On an annual basis, they play a part in the delivery of hundreds of babies on the island. For many mothers, midwives continue to support them even after leaving the hospital.
The midwives at the Scarborough General Hospital, they took care of me physically, mentally, and spiritually. They took their time to stay by my bedside many nights when I couldn't sleep. When I left the hospital after being a patient there for a month and maybe about 5 days, it was not just seeing them and say goodbye. My son, he will be 4 years old. And today, I could stand here safely and say, the nurses and the midwives at the Scarborough General Hospital has continuously been my roots.
Currently, there are 31 midwives on rotation at the Scarborough General Hospital's maternity department. The midwives were congratulated for the work they continue to do in spite of the threat of COVID-19.
The midwives have done an exceptional job during this past 2 years, having to deal with both COVID-infected mothers and non-COVID mothers. This is something that there was a bit of reluctance in the beginning, but I'm happy to say there are no issues, significant issues, with our management.
This year, International Midwives Day was observed under the theme 100 Years of Progress. The Tobago-based celebrations were done at the Scarborough General Hospital. Midwives are an imperative part of our healthcare system since they preserve the lives of our present and future generations. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We have to take a break, but do not go anywhere. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back. Stay with us. Bishop's Villa is spacious. It's got 3 large bedrooms and comfortably sleeps 10 guests. There's also a full kitchen, living room, conversational space, and family room. Its beautiful modern decor and wraparound exotic garden are only matched by an exquisite view. You can also sit on the oversized balcony to enjoy the ocean breeze, which seems to create calm, peaceful moments to connect with your inner self. Welcome back to Let's Talk Tobago. Now, the Telephone Workers Credit Union recently held its 72nd annual general meeting update in Tobago. Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine believes the meeting provides a bigger opportunity for the island. We have more details in this next story. Have a look. The Telephone Workers Credit Union in Tobago recently held its update meeting of the 72nd AGM for the year 2021. Here, audited accounts and reports were presented. The meeting was hosted for members in Tobago who could not attend the AGM in Trinidad in May.
We will share with you highlights of the meeting that was held in Port of Spain. The delay in hosting the meeting, which is normally held in March, was caused due to COVID-19 related challenges among the auditing team.
I am particularly pleased with the effort that I am seeing here on the part of TWCU for the single most reason that any of my colleagues in Trinidad will tell you when I sit at a meeting and any related matter comes up at the national level, my representation and concern is always the interest of ensuring that Tobago is able to derive mutual benefit from the Cooperative Credit Union League of Trinidad and Tobago.
Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine sees the update meeting as an opportunity for a Tobago perspective. This, he says, is vital in any national movement.
And given that the Tobago economy is so service-oriented, it means that really and truly the Tobago economy was not fully reopened until about 3 months ago. And so we are behind many of our competitors in the region. And I had cause recently to remind the Bankers Association of this uniqueness of our economic space. And I'm happy that TWCU understands such uniqueness and is insistent on coming and speaking with its membership.
Honorable Augustine says he has a strong admiration for the country's credit union movement. He says it's a facility that places people before profit. The Chief Secretary says credit unions have a role to play in the development of small and micro enterprises.
If we did not have the credit union movement in the country, what we would have essentially would only be big banks dominating the space. And I shudder to think what that would mean for all of us. And while I have nothing personal against the big banks, I do use their services. I understand the absolute need, the necessity for credit unions in this space to create that sort of community-oriented banking.
The TWCU 72nd AGM Tobago Update meeting was hosted at the Mount Irving Bay Resort. The Tobago Agribusiness Development Company, TADCO, continues to create an open and collaborative relationship with its stakeholders, particularly of farmers and agro-processors. In this story, Omadara Mills brings us highlights of the company's inaugural consultations, where participants learned about the various opportunities available to them. Here's more.
Shanice Charles and Shanae Winchester are co-founders of the company Dear Diet Enterprises. They've got a passion for adding value to local produce like dasheen and cassava. Over the years, they've manufactured products like seriously grounded dasheen cereal and cassava flour. In an effort to grow their business, Shanice attended the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company, TADCO's first official consultation with farmers and agro-processors. Ms. Charles and other participants learned about issues such as farmland development and agricultural incentives. She also got to know about TADCO's criteria for partnering with farmers and agro-processors. Shanice was especially excited about one of TADCO's future projects, a market for agro-processors to showcase and sell their products.
Today was really informative, especially the agro-processor incentive that they are intending to start or in the process of starting. That stood out majority for us because we are agro-processors, and we'll always look for incentive that could help the business. I think the consultation that TADCO put on today between the farmers and agro-processors was very important because it helps form a form of community between the farmers, the agro-processors, distributors. It helps create a cycle and a circle amongst us.
Just over 90 stakeholders in the agribusiness sector attended the consultation. Small livestock farmer Rudolph Hippolyte shares what stood out for him during the presentations.
I think taking it and carrying it to the secondary stage where the life of the product would be lengthened, I think that is a very interesting development. And I like how they talk about identifying some products like the dasheen, the cassava, and beetroot in particular.
The consultation was a joint effort between the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, and TADCO.
This will be the one of many. What will come out of this is that we're going to have the data as to who is producing what. We're going to, because there's a registration, we're going to reach out to them individually and have a further conversation with them if they need funding, what they're doing, have some inspections on their farm. Because Tobago's biggest issue is consistency, and we have to fix that. But we also have to engage persons in terms of what they are doing in terms of making it better.
The consultation also featured a question and answer session that helped address any concerns from the participants. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Isaiah Thomas became an instant hero at the Special Olympics USA Games. He starred with the Bocce ball to earn this country 2 medals. His achievement is being celebrated, while Isaiah also has some special people to thank. Here are the highlights of his return.
A welcome deserving of a king. This is how Isaiah Thomas was greeted following his participation at the U.S. Special Olympics USA Games earlier this month. He returned to Tobago with silver and bronze medals earned in his singles Bocce competition. Thomas is proud of representing his country and expressed special thank yous to a few people.
I'm proud to bring back a silver and a bronze for this great country. Everyone, I would like to thank my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather for supporting me my whole life, and my sister. my teachers, my classmates. I will thank the principal for teaching me for so many years. And I'm just proud for everything all have done for me.
Buchi isn't just for special athletes, but is one of the special Olympic disciplines that provide opportunities for people with special needs. They get to enjoy social contact and gain self-confidence, while it also aids their physical development. Isaiah's coach says the athlete's success is a testimony to his hard work and determination. He's shown grit and determination since learning to play Buchi.
For the past few months here, we have been training both in Tobago and Trinidad to prepare for this national game here, America's game here. And I know he was going to be successful because he's a very talented Buchi player, always devoted to coming to practice, never complain. And I'm proud of him. We are all proud of you. And to all the people who give us support during this time, I want to say thank you.
Isaiah's achievement is also a source of pleasure for Assistant Secretary in the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Orlando Kerr. The Assistant Secretary says despite its small size, Tobago is filled with enormous talent. He says it's important to recognize Isaiah for his accomplishments.
Today is indeed a very special day. And as Tobagonians, we have to celebrate this. In the context that when you look at the island of Tobago, which is about 60,000 persons, and when you look at our athletes going out there and competing internationally with some of those huge countries that we are just simply a dot, it tells you about the kind of talent that we have here and the kind of commitment that we have and the kind of coaches that we have. So I want you all to put your hand together again for Isaiah.
The ceremony was held at the International Departure Lounge at the ANI International Airport. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
It was an evening of laughter and reflection at the Guild House for Tobago Drama Guild's Blood Money production. If you missed it, we'll give you a sneak peek right after this break when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us. The private pool is where guests spend their evenings and late nights. But if you want to explore Tobago, Bishop's Villa is centrally located. It's just 5 minutes from the capital, Scarborough, and 10 minutes to the bustling Southwest and the A&R Robinson International Airport in Crown Point, which means it's a great option for family vacations. The Tobago Drama Guild is making the best of the relaxation of COVID health restrictions. The Guild took to the stage recently for its latest theatre presentation, Blood Money. Ryan McCool tells us more in our next story.
It ain't have no sympathy here. We pay to kill. Rodney, kill my dreams.
You really don't know me.
It's a Caribbean story written by playwright Cheryl Birchwood Wheeler Tabiti, which challenges the duplicity of differing social classes. A tale of one young man who falls into the trap of immoral acts in hopes of attaining a better quality of life.
You get into the whole bit of justifying when you're doing the wrong things to get what you want. So he was into stealing, he was a bandit, but then he found a way to justify it. He was blaming the 1%. Okay, they have all the privileges. What about us, the black people who get in trouble for just 5 ganja plants and all of that? But they are the ones controlling it.
The play was presented at the Guild House in Lowlands. It enjoyed a packed audience which has been yearning for the re-emergence of Tobago theatre.
We were able for this play to fill the hall 4 nights in a row, and that was amazing. As well as we got a shot in the arm from Bitter Cassava that came before. So Bitter Cassava sort of opened the appetite for more.
The Blood Money screenplay has also been receiving rave reviews to the delight of the Tobago Drama Guild as well as patrons.
It's the second time I've seen it. It improved on the second rendition. Performances were fantastic. Young and old performers, experienced performers, newer performers, all performed well. The story was very involved.
I thought the show was
quite remarkable. I wasn't sure what to expect. It exceeded my expectations.
It was beautiful, and you know what I love most? The young people. My God, you all have done well with them. The show, the storyline, everything, very good.
I love this show, but I wanted to join in this show, and I love it, and I really wanted to join in, and I really like this show, and I would love to see it 100 more times.
The Blood Money play will return to the Gill House after a 2-week break. The 3-day encore presentation is specially for schools, but you'll also get another chance to see the play during these viewings once space permits. From there, the Tobago Drama Guild will take the play overseas to the Canadian Consul General's office in Toronto. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
Bees have an important role that goes way beyond honey production. These little insects are so much more than the threat of a sting that they are recognized across the globe, including Tobago, as you'll see in our final story. Have a look.
Bees have created enough buzz to get their own day on the world's calendar. World Bees Day is celebrated annually on May 20th. But if you're wondering why these little insects have a day, here's the reason. World Bees Day highlights the essential role of bees and other pollinators play in keeping the world healthy. It's an opportunity for governments, organizations, civil society, and concerned citizens everywhere to promote actions that will protect pollinators and help them thrive.
We join with the rest of the world in celebrating World Bee Day because these tiny insects are one of the main insects that gives back to us as humans, namely various variety of products, honey, bee pollen, propolis, royal jelly, and various types of therapy. Also pollination, which you all know. Some people may say between 60 to 90% of our food are contributed by bee pollination, be it stainless bees or honeybees.
Honeybees produce honey, which is loved worldwide for its sweetness and depth of flavor. It is commonly used in many foods and recipes. Honey is also very popular in a range of other products.
I partner with the beekeepers, with Tobago Apiculture Society and other beekeepers to present to you this lovely display, and other stakeholders, people do value-added products like soaps, creams, body butters, candles.
The island's beekeeping industry is growing, and it's not an easy job. But there are many benefits associated with beekeeping, which is why Davlon Brathwaite continues rearing his bees. He even shares his knowledge about the health benefits of honey.
We produce mainly honey and supply supermarkets on the island. Management of the hives, making sure they are well maintained in terms of the queen satisfied, have a good quality queen, splitting of hives. That's a process whereby we expand, so you can start off from one and end up to as much as you want. Honey is a natural alternative. Bees are beneficial for pollination. Most of the fruits and vegetables that we enjoy, bees have something to do with it. Also, it is said that these things are beneficial for persons who may have arthritis.
The theme of this year's World Bee Day events was Be Engaged, celebrating the diversity of bees and beekeeping systems. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we have come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information on Bishop's Villa, you can contact the manager at 416-450-2484 via WhatsApp or email them at bishopsvilla@gmail.com. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and fantastic week. We leave you with a montage of Bishop's Villa. Do enjoy.